Hello, Husker fans. Sam McKewon along with Tom Shatel, and this is the debut edition of Monday Press Pass, where we go inside the press conference with Tom Shatel, and he kind of gives us his takes from what came today. You'll see this on Omaha.com and the Omaha World-Herald. Well, we'll start with this, Tom. That was the shortest press conference for a head coach that I can remember in 10 years of covering Nebraska football. Scott Frost up there for about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. He was ready to get the hell out of there.
You know, I hadn't seen anything like that since Bill Callahan the day after C. Peterson was fired. That was short as well. But Scott was in full Tom Osborne mode. Tom used to come in and he was a master of not saying anything, but he would read the depth chart to take up all the time. Well, that would be good today, but there was no depth chart either. So there wasn't a lot going on today, which is fine. I know fans do not care about that. But the question is, what should you read into this? Or is he tight, or he just doesn't want to say anything? And I think that plus the fact that there's no depth chart. I think it's game week. He's trying to. There's some gamesmanship with Brett Bielema, with Illinois. So he's not going to show his hand. But it's an interesting. I guess when we talk about the press conference, there's not much else to talk about. But I think it's maybe something to watch going forward.
Yeah, he was pretty brisk today and blunt. One of the things that he was brisk and blunt about, which I thought was interesting, was the Big Ten COVID protocol. So today, the Big Ten released the same information that the SEC and the ACC, et cetera, released, that if a team doesn't have enough players to field a roster, that they'll have to forfeit the game if the other team can play. When we sort of asked about the vaccination rate, he said, well, something's going to come out from that. Someone above me is going to talk about that. I don't really want to focus on that. I then asked him, would you like to share the vaccination rate with us? And he said, if I wanted to, I would.
Yes, he did. And that was part of his deal today, which, I can't complain. I'm in the camp of that the slogan should be this year, no talk, all action. So maybe that means there's going to be lots of action on Saturday, but
we're not supposed to sloganeer this football game. That's for Minnesota.
I do it anyway.
That's right.
Anyway, yes, the forfeit thing is a good thing. If you can't get your team, if you have to forfeit a game because you've had a lot of COVID, and I realize that if you have the vaccine, that you can still get it, but the vaccine does prevent you from getting it. So if a team has it, whether it's Nebraska or the Pac-12 or the ACC or whatever, SEC, if you can't get your team to be vaccinated, it's about caring about winning. It's not just health, right? People care about winning. So I think if there's good news coming, that is very good news. Nebraska wants to win. Nebraska fans want to win games. They don't want to lose any. Especially by forfeit. So I like that there's going to be good news coming.
If you're not vaccinated, you got to get tested at least once a week.
Right.
And that was the thing that Frost said today. That was notable. So if you are vaccinated, apparently you don't get tested. This does have real-world consequences. The North Carolina State baseball team was thrown out of the College World Series.
Well,
so it can happen.
We have to wear masks Saturday. That's fine. We're still living in that world. But get vaccinated, folks. That's all I'll say. And let's hope it all works out.
Third topic, running backs. I looked at the Nebraska offensive poster today. There were 5 wide receivers on it. There was a quarterback, some offensive linemen. There weren't a single running back.
Yeah.
And Omar Manning, who has never caught a pass here at Nebraska, on the poster. They did not have running backs who have carried the ball at Nebraska on the poster. This is a big question mark going into.
It's still receiver you, yeah. No, it's Sam. One of my favorite Skywriter stories happened. We were in Oklahoma, and the Oklahoma newspaper had a headline that said, Sooners will have good backs. We love that headline. We started, that's like saying Skywriters will have dinner.
That's right.
And so, Nebraska used to have that headline every year too. Huskers will have good backs. Well, I think the headline this year is Huskers might have good backs, and that's a very good thing. Morrison, Stepp, Irvin. I think there's 3 candidates here, and I don't know. It'd be great to have one step forward. Steph, see what I just said?
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. Somebody will come forward, take the job, but I don't mind having three. I think a lot of times you can wear a team down. Somebody comes in, has fresh legs late in the game. I think you're going to have a guy who can get in the red zone and get first downs inside the 10, maybe get break into the end zone, not have to kick a field goal. That's going to be very big this year. So I just like the idea that Nebraska can lean on the running game, take pressure off the quarterback, take pressure off the receivers, and keep the defense off the field a little bit. It's just going to add to the whole team. I think this team will need an identity if it's going to win and go to a bowl game. I like the running game as that identity.
This is the biggest season opener since '03, I think. Frank, Okie State. Frank won, then he got fired at the end of the year, but that was a big opener. This one feels like that big.
He replaced the staff. They opened with the conference game. There's a lot of similarities. Both teams were orange. I mean, it's I think
that Oklahoma State team was better than this Illinois team.
Yeah, but remember, Nebraska brought all the alumni back. Yep. All the old players were around the field as they walked in. It was a very emotional day, and we all thought, well, here we go. And I believe Barrett Ruth scored a touchdown on a fumble. I think he scooped a fumble and scored. So we all thinking after that game, here we go. They're on their way. Solskjaer saved his job. And, well, you know the rest of the story. But I think this is a big game. But I hate to put too much on it. Is if you don't win, there's still 11 games left.
There are.
There's a lot of winnable games. I shouldn't use that word. Somebody from the Purdue team might hear me. But to me, and I will write about this later in the week, I think Michigan is the game of the year for this team. And we'll see how it plays out. Right now, Illinois is the game of the year, the greatest game of all time. So we'll be there and Saturday, and we'll hope to see you on Omaha.com afterwards.
All right, for Tom Shatel and Sam McKewon, this is the Monday Press Pass. We'll be back here next Monday to recap Illinois and preview Fordham.